Anxiety recovery is simple once you do this. Once you implement the right habits, principles, you'll find yourself recovering over time. And you'll even find yourself not worrying about the time of recovery once you do it right. You kind of come to the understanding that, okay, it's not about how long it takes or addressing an individual symptom, but it's rather about my attitude towards the anxiety. And the reason we have anxiety, and some people even have it for many years, I've helped people overcome anxiety that have had it for decades, right? One person I work with, they had it for 20 years, which is crazy. Well, it is crazy. Let's just leave it as is. It is crazy, because really you can overcome it relatively quickly once you know what to do, once you know the right principles. So let's dive right into those principles. Principle number one is acceptance. This is perhaps the most important principle out of all anxiety recovery principles. It comes from the understanding of, Eastern philosophy, if you will, of, accepting your emotions rather than fighting them. This is because what you resist persists. This is a quote by Carl Jung as well, who, is quite well known for like subconscious shadow work, and all those kind of like diving into that. By the way, I don't think we need to do that to overcome anxiety. I don't think we need to analyze where this thought has come from, analyze where this came from childhood, analyze all these things. Like, yes, that could be helpful as part of a greater healing journey, but in a way, it could actually be counterproductive when it comes to anxiety, where you're already adding so much resistance and obsession and fear to symptoms and thoughts and emotions and sensations in your body, that what your body and mind actually just want from you is for you to just chill the F out, right? They just wants to chill. That's why you get DPDR, which is a protective mechanism of the body, where you feel a sense of not even being real, right? Where it feels very weird and spacey and unreal, and you maybe even numb and have no emotions, and it's just totally freaky and scary symptom. I'm sure if you've had it, you know what I'm talking about. And that is actually your body saying, enough is enough. You've been obsessing, fighting, resisting, over worrying, adding fear to fear, and now boom, it's time for a break. I can't handle this. Your body and mind saying, enough. And what do? We don't listen to it. We keep fighting, we keep resisting, we keep obsessing, we keep Googling, we keep stuck in this cycle of constant research and trying to fix symptoms. And where's this coming from? Does this mean I'm going insane? Does it mean I'm getting psychosis? Does it mean I'm getting this health issue, health anxiety? Am I getting cancer? All this stuff. Obviously, if you feel some symptoms, I recommend going to the doctor to just get checked to rule out anything else, So you can rest assured it's just anxiety, and you can then focus on the anxiety recovery principles. So most people with anxiety, they start living like a hermit, honestly. They avoid social situations. Maybe they even stop going to work. Maybe they stop like going to social events. So if someone says, hey, want to come over for dinner or something, or want to go to this meetup, you're like, oh, anxiety, no, you can't go. You're going to be weird. You're going to freak out. This is going to happen. Something wrong is going to happen. Feels honestly like death, to go somewhere. And the anxiety is kind of lying to you, right? It's just these emotions, they're feeding thoughts, and the thoughts feed the emotions. And it's just this whirlwind of darkness that's in our system. And if we just listen to that and we continue to resist that, it will just maintain. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is you want to stop making anxiety your enemy. This is not a battle. This is not a war with anxiety. Okay. That's the wrong attitude to have towards anxiety. Instead, you want to make peace with anxiety. It's almost like, I think it's like making peace. It's allowing, it's welcoming. Say, okay, anxiety. And here's an invitation. You've probably been fighting anxiety for so long that maybe you reach the point, that's what I had, reach the point, okay, this is not working what I'm doing, okay? So I'm going to do something else. I'm going to stop fighting. The invitation is to stop fighting your anxiety and instead to just allow it to be there, to welcome it, to give up the fight and struggle, okay? That's acceptance. Emotion comes up. Okay, I'm just going to allow it to be there. I'm not going to fight it. But I'm also not going to analyze it like crazy and where's it coming from? Is it from a childhood? Is it, why do I have this? See how that's like this tension around it? Instead, it's like, okay, it's there. It sucks. I don't enjoy it. It's not good. But I'm just going to keep going anyway. And then the next principle, this fits perfectly in line, is facing your fears, okay? The more you do the uncomfortable, the more you become comfortable. So most people with anxiety, I kind of alluded to it already, but they listen to anxiety. What's the anxiety saying? It's like, everything is fearful. Don't do this. They start living hermit life. And as a result, they just feel worse and worse, right? They stop taking action. Everything becomes more scary, even basic stuff like going to the supermarket, going to a social event, going to work, working on their business, career, whatever. And some people, they even completely stop doing all these things, right? And that's anxiety lying to you, and you listening to it and you acting in alignment with it is you agreeing to that reality, okay? The subconscious mind is very powerful. It actually wants you to get better. The body wants to heal itself and the mind, because it doesn't enjoy this either. So by resisting fighting, you're making it worse, as I said. And so what you want to do is you want to actually allow your body to heal itself, okay? You're not the healer. You're not actually healing this. Your system is healing this yourself for you. So you just have to step out of the way of the healing process and allow the healing to take place naturally, okay? Because what you've been doing so far is you've been doing the opposite. You've been trying to micromanage the anxiety, figure out symptoms, and that maintains the condition, my friend. That just makes it worse, okay? So what you want to do is you want to step out of the way. Okay, the anxiety is here for the time being. I don't know how long it will take to recover. Maybe it will just take some weeks. Maybe it'll take months. Maybe it'll take a year or 2 or 3, but that doesn't matter, okay? I'm just going to focus on the right principles. I want to cure this at the root. I want to actually get better, not just mask a symptom with some medication. I want to just feel normal again, or even beyond that, I want to grow spiritually maybe and just be my best version. And this requires you to let go, my friend. Which, if you're a guy, it's even more difficult to do that, right? Because you've been conditioned to like be strong and masculine. That's all great. I think we should be masculine and strong men, but in the presence of anxiety or mental health condition, that mindset doesn't actually help, okay? You want to just stop fighting the anxiety and then it will go away, okay? And also stop obsessing about the anxiety. Step 2, facing your fear, leaving the comfort zone. You can start with baby steps if it seems overwhelming. Instead of saying no to the next invitation for an event or a social thing or whatever, you just say yes. You go there, and even if it's too overwhelming and too intense, you can always allow yourself to leave if it gets too much. The win is you showing up, okay? You show up and you go there, and okay, maybe you freak out like crazy, you feel weird and stuff, but I can assure you that like people don't even notice as much. The weird thing, and I've heard this from other people as well, is they even say, you know what? People even tell me I seem like the calmest person they've ever met. I used to get this as well, back in the day when I had anxiety, I was in this job, because I wanted to face my fears. I was just busy. I would just get myself out there around people. And, people said to me, oh, you seem so chill and calm. I'm like, if you knew the truth, my friend, you would not change roles with me, man. I am the opposite of peace and calm. I feel terrible. I feel anxious. I feel depressed. I feel heavy. If you knew how I feel, like I wouldn't wish this upon my worst enemy. So I don't know why that is. Probably we're like warriors or something, because we've just learned to live with so much pain, and we've just kind of accepted it, right? So, like anxiety recovery, pretty simple, really. Acceptance, facing your fear, and now free is they're all freaking important. If you drop any of these, you don't do any of these properly, then it's just not going to work, right? So the other thing is keeping busy, right? So yes, you allow the anxiety to be there. You face your fears. Your face your fears will trigger more of the anxiety. Okay, once you begin this process, it might initially feel worse, which can catch people. God, they leap out there, they leave the comfort zone, and it's like boom, hits them like crazy, right? Then they're like, okay, no, go back to comfort zone, take pill, you know. But that doesn't heal it. Okay, that's delaying. So you have to face it, man. You have to be bold and courageous, and you have to go for it. Okay, that's the only way. If you're a guy, like that's masculinity, you know. If you're a woman, you still have to do it, right? Like, I don't know. It's just the way to recover, right? I've helped both women and men recover, so it's the only way to do it, right? It's like you need courage. You have to face your fears, even if the anxiety is there. I think some people call this exposure therapy, although I'm not some therapist. I didn't study psychology. I'm just someone, man, who had anxiety, depression, even suicidal thoughts. And I went even to professionals. They said, here's some medication. You can have this for the rest of your life. You can maybe manage it. And here's some pills and maybe you'll get better. That's what they said to me. And I was like, okay, I went to counseling. They said, oh, I can only listen to you, but I can't actually help you. I went to a psychologist, maybe looking at some therapy. He said, maybe you have psychosis and all this stuff. I'm like, what the F, I heard that from other people too, okay? This is not medical advice. You have to make your own conclusions, but I'm just a fan of doing it naturally, doing it by yourself, and focusing on the right principles and actually solving this problem at the root, letting it go, overcoming it completely, right? I'm talking about full anxiety recovery, full freedom from all this darkness, forever, like never having it ever again. Or if it comes again, you know what to do, right? I'm not saying I never ever felt anxious since recovery or depressed or something. we all experience emotions, but I don't have that chronic thing anymore, right? Like, sure, I might have a bad day, or maybe I'll feel negative or something, but it's not like it used to be 24/7, right? It's in a normal, healthy, natural way as a normal response to our lives, So if I experience something negative happening in my life, or I go through a breakup, I recently went through a breakup. It's been like 4 months. That was quite hard for me initially. I felt a lot of sadness. I felt a bit depressed about it at times, But that's normal, right? Like, that's just a normal thing. The goal is not to like avoid all emotions and become a robot. So yeah, you can overcome anxiety. And we're not done yet with this video. I'm going to show you, I'm going to deliver massive value to you so you know what to do, right? So we have number 1, letting go. Number 2, facing fear. Number 3, keeping yourself busy. Okay, so even at home, you don't want to sit there like obsessing about the anxiety. Oh, anxiety. No, when anxiety is there, keep yourself busy. Maybe read a book, listen to a podcast. If you have to, watch a movie or a TV series. But that can be, again, another dopamine thing, right? Where just spend hours watching series. I don't think that's good. It can lead to a lack of motivation because you fry your dopamine. You see, dopamine is the reward chemical in your brain. And nowadays we can get dopamine so easily via watching adult movies, via short form content. I don't think content like this is too dopamine heavy, okay? Like long form content. I think that's actually okay. Or podcast is even better, like long educational content, but not this like 30-second, like ding, 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 dopamine, and then 2 hours are gone. You've completely fried your dopamine, and then you have no more motivation whatsoever because you have a limited willpower battery, dopamine battery, if you will. I'm probably not explaining this perfectly, but this is just how it works in essence, okay? But essentially, you then deplete that dopamine, and then you feel no more motivation whatsoever to do the important things, For example, let's take the example of like watching adult movies as a guy. If you watch adult movies as a guy every day, then you won't be motivated to go out there and crush it. You won't be motivated to meet women in real life. You won't be as motivated, okay? You won't be as motivated to work on your goals. You won't be as motivated to face your fears, leave the comfort zone. You will lack a certain sense of energy because of it, okay? And that's the same for everyone pretty much, okay? So that's a whole other discussion, right? But anyway, let's keep it relevant to this discussion. So keep him busy. You want to keep yourself busy at all times with the anxiety. So you avoid that space of like resisting, fighting the anxiety, obsessing about it, right? That's what you want to get rid of, that whole like making your life about anxiety. Let it fade into the background. Keep yourself busy. Leave the comfort zone. If you are no longer, I don't know, working on a project, business, goal, you've retreated, go back, start working again. Not necessarily perfectly. And this is the next point, imperfect action. So all of this cannot be done perfectly, okay? It just can't, There's no perfection. Perfectionism is an obstacle to progress in a life. So you want to do all that I said imperfectly. So facing fear, it might be imperfect. You might face fear. I remember years ago when I had anxiety, I went to this Dorf is a German word, sorry, village feast festival. This is not a festival, but like a small, here I live in Germany in a wine producing region. And in summer they have like wine, like village wine feasts, where the village gathers and maybe there's some visitors and stuff, and people could just drink there. And then there's a small dance floor outside, And I was just chilling there with a friend, like, I don't know, I think it was even drinking a wine or something, which is not good for recovery. Maybe sometimes you can drink a glass of wine, but you surely have noticed that if you drink a lot when you have anxiety, it just makes it worse, okay? So I recommend minimizing or completely quitting alcohol. Occasionally is okay, but just don't make it into a habit. And I was on the dance floor, and this woman seemed to be interested in me. She was dancing next to me, smiling, got closer and closer, and I noticed it. And sure enough, I freaked out, man. I was like, anxiety, suddenly had a panic attack. And then I left, I went home, and then my friend said, hey, what happened to you? Why did you just disappear? And I was like, had some anxiety and stuff, and just didn't feel well, blah, blah, blah. And then I left. But that was not a loss. That was imperfect action. I went there, I showed up, but sure, I freaked out, and then I left home. But that doesn't matter. It's okay. I did it imperfectly. I showed up, just show up. And that's a win, okay? And then you will notice as you keep doing that imperfectly, you will notice this even applies to acceptance. Acceptance won't be perfect either. It applies to all this anxiety principles. These are principles, right? To live by, you know? It's not about tactics. There's principles and tactics. Principles are like guiding timeless, eternal principles, okay? And tactics is like, I don't know, maybe EFT tapping is a tactic to heal trauma. Then you have other tactics, maybe some meditation or whatever, guided meditation. But principles are what you want to live by, okay? And then there are tactics within those principles, practical ways you may implement that. But with acceptance, don't look for like crazy tactics either, because that can be a form of resistance, okay? Anyway, let's see. We have letting go, facing fear, keeping busy, imperfect action. The last one, I'm just gonna call this like personal development kind of spirituality, okay? So what I had with anxiety, I was never perfect, but I tried to regularly do a morning routine where I would just get up, move a bit, and then close my eyes, meditate, focus on my breath. For a long time, I was into Wim Hof method. I'm not saying you have to do Wim Hof method. And yeah, you just follow like under this. That's a good example of what I was sharing before. So the principles like spirituality or personal development practices, or you know, or spiritual practice, okay, whatever you want to call it. And within that principle, there's like things like, okay, morning routines. Then there's like meditation. What meditation techniques do you have? Okay, then there's like Wim Hof. That's also a tactic within that principle, okay? And there's even, you could put books into there, right? Then there's like Paul David, anxiety book. That's a tactic, okay? Personal development, you know, kind of thing. I'm going to read this book right now, and I'm just going to check it out, man. I'm going to read it, see how I feel, and take action, man. Read this book, get inspiration. I became obsessed about reading. I think reading is very powerful when you have anxiety. It's a great way to keep busy rather than like being on your phone or something. And secondly, it's a great way to learn new things. Thirdly, it's a great way to get inspiration. And I believe personally that when you're reading a book, it's almost like you're connecting on a spiritual level with the author himself, right? That's how it feels to me, like a personal mentoring session when I'm like actually reading a book, powerful book. I'm like, I always get some inspiration. Like, okay, what can I implement, man? And yeah, that pretty much sums up the video. If you would like me to be your personal coach, assist you on this journey, I offer coaching. You can schedule a free discovery call somewhere in the description or pinned comment. There'll be a link to my website, andykloss.com. And there you can see some testimonials and schedule a free call where we can see if my coaching is the right fit for you. And other than that, I will see you in the next video, my friend. Peace and much love.